Okay, so it's almost 6. You know what's tripping me out is how much stuff that I have been saying since the beginning is all just keeps coming and coming and coming. Like the craziest stuff that I have said just keeps coming up. And the stuff I have been saying is all by trusting my inner instinct and my listening to my guides and stuff. And so, yeah, it's pretty trippy because you know what I mean? There's only certain people who see, and even when you see the other videos and stuff of people disclosing the same things as me, like one of the videos I just saw was a podcast, and the guy was saying, he was explaining it as all the people who, like people, like it's the same thing as what I keep saying is people think that their thoughts are them and it's all these other voices talking to you. And so he was saying, like, if you're feeling like you've got like split personality um and you're starting to he was trying to get people to notice the different voices and to be able to separate them so that you can distinctly hear them and participate in the conversation so you can see what it is they're trying to communicate to you. But that you'll notice all these different voices. Really, it's not you fracturing your personality, it's all this communication. I've been saying that for so long. There's so many things I've been saying that there's so much more, and that's the way it's going to keep going because the truth is going to keep unfolding. And there definitely is a lot of these videos that seem like they're artificially made or something, but I swear to God, they're releasing truth. And even though they're trying to make like, oh, this is coming from some person or something, it's just like the steam is picked up on all of this stuff. Like it's going faster. It totally trips me out. It's like I just had these peppers and I cooked 3 of them. I was making this chili relleno casserole, which I go through these phases where things will taste really good, but then they'll taste really funky. And so it's just like these phases. You just got to kind of roll with it. Like you can't get too caught up. It just is like it's in movement. And so I'm at this part again where things taste really funky. And so I had made this chili relleno casserole, and the peppers just tasted weird to me. And I wasn't sure what tasted weird for sure. But then yesterday I ate some more of it, and I ate just some peppers. I was like, that is the taste. It tastes so weird. So in the package there was 4 of these big paseo peppers, and there was 1 left. And so I put it up on the fridge. And it's really weird here. I can't even tell you. Like I can take my clothes out of the dryer and set them down and they will be wet. And so everything is wet. There's this moisture. And I know we're all in different realities. And I know that's hard for people to wrap their head around because they think we're all sharing the same space. But over here where I'm at, it's very weird. And it trips me out because I'll get really caught up in trying to decipher it. Like, what are they doing here? What are we doing here? Like, what are we trying to, like, what are we learning and stuff, you know? And how's my learning have to do with that person's learning and that person, you know, it's trippy. And so, the 1 pepper that I put on the fridge, I got down this morning, it's just totally molded. It's just wrecked. And I was like, things are going so fast. Like I'm running out of stuff so fast. Like time is stretched out. But then when you look at time, it's barely moving. And it's like all the stuff goes, stuff rots really quick. The exhaustion. Like I feel so tired all the time. Like I'm not getting enough sleep. But then I'll sleep and then I'll wake up. But it still is like, and I don't know, you know, how to figure it all out, to decipher it or understand all of it. It's just things are moving weird. And it's like this, because it's all falling apart. It's like it doesn't have the same hold as it did. So there's nothing holding all these things together. So they're just kind of really scattered. And so, So everything with time, like somebody just did this video and they said it was one of these things where they're talking to each other, pretending to have this conversation. And so they're like, oh yeah, I remember when the Dovik started. And he's like, oh yeah, that was like a couple years ago. And the guy goes, no, that was 5 years and 2 months ago. And it's probably more months than that now. But that's the thing, is like when you look and you think like, fuck, man, all this stuff has been happening since, especially when you have landmarks to look at. Because I have landmarks in throughout since my brain injury, of, well, this was happening and then this was happening, and my healing started back there. And so that was in '09, February of '09, because I got out of the hospital on Valentine's Day. It was the same day that number 3 was moving out his stuff. Well, he was supposed to already be out by the time I got home. And then the but it's I don't know, the whole time has been moving weird, things have been looking different, and the sky, the communication, like there's been so much. And you can look at it, the different time slots and stuff, but how time is like exaggerated or something, like I don't know, it's very weird. And like I just don't get how you can have something for a couple days and it's like been sitting there rotting for a month. And then you see these people who find this stuff that has been sitting in their cabinet that they forgot about. I just saw one, it was a loaf of bread, and it's been in their camper for over a year. And they for maybe less than a year, I think it was over a year, whatever, it was a long fucking time, way past, like bread. Well, if you make the bread yourself, it will mold really quick. The bread from the store, I've had to do it at different times. I think it kind of depends on the atmosphere, like what your environment is like the moisture. Like here, it's weird. And so these people had got this bread, and it was so it was like of August. Maybe he had it at Christmas, and now it was August or something like that. Whatever, it had been a long time, and the bread just still looked completely normal. They said it smelled a little weird, but I think that bread all the time smells weird from the store. And so anyways, it's just weird. And then you get like a pepper and you put it on the fridge up there. It was next to the onions, so I don't know if the onions made it rot really quick, but it that quick, I don't know, there just seems to be a lot of weird stuff with our food and everything just seems to be weird. And it's not like, well, we need to get super caught up in it, we just need to question it and like process through it, because things are going to be changing with the food. I just feel so much about that, because of especially the stuff that I keep seeing. Sometimes the things that I'll see, it just drives something home. And there's so much corruption around our food. And the W with the EF at the after it, I think it's their proposal or something. And they want to stop, stop supplying food or something like that. I don't know. Whatever all this stuff is all going to be super absurd because it's supposed to be catching our attention. But, for it to be coming up, it just keeps coming up and coming up and coming up. And then it keeps being like, I keep seeing videos of like horrible abuses. Like this one was a chicken farm or something. And it was this huge barn. It was full. It looked like 1,000,000 chickens, and they all look dead. They all just look like they're laying on top of each other dead. Like people are being fed such sick stuff. And it's like, it's so easy to just be raising our food. And there's so many more people coming out and talking about that and the difference, and talking about the difference in our weight and stuff. Oh yeah, I haven't even got to finish this show yet because I get interrupted all the fucking time. And but this was Tucker's new one. My mom had told me that I should watch it, and so I started watching. It's on here, I can share the link. And so I started watching it. It's really good because and this was another one where I was getting so much confirmation of so much of the stuff I've been saying. and now, you know, you have more of these doctors, but this is it a so she was a very specialized surgeon and gone through all her stuff, went to Stanford, and her brother is like a lobbyist or something. So they have these perspectives of that are, you know, important to people understanding and like an establishing an understanding of how things have gone or progressed or worked. So the um and the girl, she's very much questioning. She's the doctor one, and she was very much like, um, when she started seeing, and so she was saying that the doctors are not taught to look at the whole self. They try and get him to just look at one little thing. She said that they're not, there's all this stuff that they're not taught. And she said what got her was one day, is was her awakening, was one day she was doing her third surgery on this woman. So she was getting her third sinus surgery, and she was going through her other, what are those things called? There are other diagnoses, but there's another word that is used in the medical thing. I just can't see it all the way. But anyways, so all her diagnoses, and so she poor morbid. So she was poor morbidity, more. Sometimes it's hard to see, like there's like interference or something. I don't know, because it seems like it would be simple. Oh, well, can't you just see the word? Can't you just see the person? Can't you just see the place or something? But there's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like, it's just when you work on it more on yourself, you'll start seeing, and then you'll be, oh, this is why, okay, this is normal. So the, so poor morbidities or whatever it is. But so she had, like, well, she started explaining about stuff about the medical and how it works and what's happening to people and stuff. Like, she caught on. And when she realized, like, this woman's, like, she had diabetes, she had, like, she's going through this list of all the stuff this woman has, and it just like hit her. It's like nothing is getting fixed on this woman. We're not looking at the whole thing. I don't even know what the hell's going on, why her sinuses keep doing this. So she just, it hit her, you know, like, we got to look at the whole thing. Like, this shouldn't be this way. There shouldn't be all these sick people. People shouldn't be getting sicker and sicker. With the help of her brother and stuff, they've put together so much information about, because they have a lot of, and I haven't even seen the whole thing yet, but of, you know, like certain companies that give medicine that also give poison to farm, like all this stuff that I've been saying for a long time. It's just like I could just see it. It was just stuff I could just see. As soon as you just look into it, then you can just see it. And then it's like you see a whole picture play out. You see a lot of stuff. And what is so much that you see is so much corruption and so much greed. But it's not even just greed. Not everybody, there's so much more riding on greed sometimes. It's like their whole ego, their whole, and it's not even just like this hard, like, I gotta be better than everybody. It's more of just so they don't feel so bad about themselves. Like, when people get way out of balance in some way, like, I need more and more and more, you know, I've got to have all of these things. It's make them feel good about themselves, because there's stuff that they feel bad about themselves. And the way to go at it is to work on the things that you feel bad about, because piling more stuff on is not going to end up making you feel better. But, you know, a lot of times people have to go through that process in order to have that understanding, which, you know, that's fine. It's not like, I mean, that's why the processes are there, is because we get to play out things. We get to learn things. We get to experience things. And so, you know, don't ever, so many people get caught up in woulda, shoulda, coulda, you know, I could have been perfect if I just would have done this. But that's not the way it's meant to be. And so the people who, like, there's people who are very much takers in the world, but it's like they're also empty. Yesterday, my daughter was saying something about something, one of my daughters, and it just hit me of my own self as a mom, as my person back then. And I saw myself all of a sudden as just like, well, I kept seeing it as like the toilet, how when the toilet flushes and the water starts going, I started seeing that as like my emotions. It wasn't just like, the cow, how they would be like, is the cup full or is the cup empty? Is it half full and all that stuff? It was like I was in a state of just like nothing. It just nothing could stay. Like I was like a quicksand of an energetic puller or something. Like I was so depleted of me. And one thing that I depended on a lot, I think when I look back, is that creating drama, like having drama around is a very big distraction. And it's some of these things like people always think, well, that's not the big deal. Like if you're comparing yourself to drug addicts and all this stuff, to be a workaholic who creates dramas. But the things are that it causes emotional stress in your life when you can go in and heal the problems that are making you have these toxic characteristics and these toxic behaviors. And so you have to go in and look at it. But I don't know, she was saying something and I was just like, I feel like if my kids came to me with their problem, I would just be like, well, I've got bigger problems than you, sister. Like I would just take all from like your problems don't matter, my problems are way bigger. And I can look back and I can even remember the one daughter who's always been my boundary teacher. She's the Capricorn too, because when you listen to what certain kids come in to teach you, so she's very much on point with her lessons towards me as what she came here to teach me. And it's how open you are to learning. And sometimes like when she said this stuff to me, I couldn't see it. Wasn't ready for it. I had to go through more healing. But she told me, every time I try and tell you something, you try and like you are competing with me. Like you want to go and say like how it was worse for you or something. And at the time I was thinking, I'm just trying to like be on the same, like, oh, I've been through it too. But then when my other daughter was saying this story about somebody, and all of a sudden I just heard myself in this other thing. That's why I say don't come at people like this is what you do. This is what you do. It's easier to hear it when you hear somebody else's story. That's why it's easier to see things. That's why we're here to also learn from each other's stories, not just our own, but you have to open yourself out. And so, but hearing her talk about this other person doing this, and I was like, oh, I think I did that. I bet you have mother wounds about that you need to heal from me, because I feel like there was parts of my life where I was so empty that all I was doing was just sucking the life out of the room because I was just so down. And coming from the kid's perspective, and that's one thing too, is like, your friends and stuff, they may not all know, because when you go home, it's like when you let it all hang out and then your kids are there and stuff. And another thing too, is I keep seeing so many little kids begging not to go to school because it's not meant to be this way. We're not meant to ship our kids off. We're not meant to cage animals and cage kids and stuff. Like things are so out of whack. And so, when all these things are to wake us up and get us to see. So anyways, I knew I was going to be like, because I haven't even, like, there's so much stuff that is going on. Let me think, did I finish saying about that stuff then? Is, I don't know, maybe I did. Maybe that's where it fell off. Because now it's coming into my head about Aurora and stuff. And so, it's getting so wild. But see, this is the thing, is that these things are to happen so people can see themselves. And so when you go in comments and listen to what some people say about things, you can see the reason why people need to see themselves. People are whacked out, half-baked, have no clue, only see part, and they're so in judgment and so in hatefulness. This is what really gets me, is the hatefulness that's going on. And it's it's kind of sad because so many people don't look at it as the hatefulness. They look at it as this protective more. Like we've got to protect ourselves or something. But we don't protect ourselves with hate. This is where we got to be. And I don't know how to explain this very well. Because you got to stay true to yourself. And so, what can push you to become not yourself? And so, if, oh, there's something on my screen. I was like, what do I have on my face now? So, if you're not true to yourself, then, what are you true to and who are you true to and why and stuff like that. And so, you're here learning all of these different things. But so, the people who, okay, because now I got to see it again. When you see, that was really hard to explain too. I don't even know if I could have explained it right. So maybe that's why it's just like, because I was very like, what? How do you explain that, man? Because it's, there's so much about this stuff is like your soul, it's like this remembering, like your soul remembering. And so the things on the spiritual side of life are so much more significant than people have any understanding about. And so it's like you are here to see yourself in it. And like right now we have like all these people who that it's like would rather have hate or something. And like, there's like all this division or something. Is somebody's better than somebody else. And so the people who like I had said for a while, like the people who want to doing them immigrants, how dare them and stuff. And then it's supposed to be getting all this outrage and stuff all coming to the surface by all of this nonsense, where there are so many people like talking about California and get the fuck out. There's even a guy who's going around saying there's going to be a tsunami and earthquake, telling people evacuate. And I keep seeing his videos. And so he's got more people now who are talking about their dreams again and is going under the water dreams. And one lady who was talking about hers, she was saying New York again. But then she said everybody needs to get out of California. And that is what I keep saying. It's like I feel like that there is this push, but it's pushing if you are at this vibration where it's like, what's right and what's wrong and stuff, and knowing that that this isn't the place for you, like it's going dark, it's going darker. And so, but it's like it has to come on inside the person. And so the people who go in and they are super hateful. And I don't know. It's like, do we have a huge group of people who are looking forward to a massacre, a bloodbath? Do they think like, because one thing too is that I saw a news report, which, another thing too, don't forget, is all these fake ass news reports that keep coming up. But then there's also, more things about this. Like like there was even the cops that were going and moving these things and putting them in certain places, and they got caught. And it was like a whole truck full, and it was quite clear, they're arming somebody. And so over there where all this drama is going on, all of the shops have all been everything's emptied out of them because people came in and took it. And so then they're saying, well, they're totally armed, but they were already packing, they were already walking around like carrying machine ones, just walking around. And so, and then they're doing something like, I don't understand if these people are going to work and then going back to the apartments. Once I got out of that place, I would leave. Like sometimes you have to be able to walk away from your stuff. Like there's more to the thing. Like your spirit has things going on, and your spirit knows like, all these things are replaceable. And when you are hanging on to things too much, then you got to question yourself. But So you have all these people who are, ready for war, and they are obviously, it's a setup. And now you have all these people who are saying that it was weird because there was videos where people were going on, and there was tons of them, and people were calling out the gangs, and they were calling out the biker gangs and stuff. So they were calling out all these gangs and saying, why are you guys letting this go on? Why is nobody going and doing anything? And so then there started being these videos where they were saying that they were the Hells Angels, they were the bikers, they were this and that, and they're on their way. This big motorcycle gang is on their way, and then there's other videos where it's more bikers from other places, and they're all meeting up. And so there's this huge, big thing of bikers that would be heading there. The thing is like what I was saying yesterday, you're not like, like people in the CARTL are more of what we think of as psychopaths. Like people here are a lot more like, execution style. Like, we'll just, and make it easy for them. We're not gonna, that's not the way it is for these other people. These other people enjoy the TORTURE. They get off on it, and they are horrible. I think it's probably, the red rooms get their, their ideas from these psychopaths. They do really horrible things. Like, you just got, if you don't know anything about this, like how there's people that don't know anything about the Middle East, just go look up about, Mexico, CARTEL, and crimes. Go look it up. And it's horrendous. And, like they'll peel people's skin while they're living. They're the ones who will go out and tie you, cover you in honey and tie you on an anthill. Like these people are into kind of like, that was another thing too that kind of really freaked me out when I was seeing stuff about war with, it seems like the Japanese, but I'm not sure, but it seems like if I go back, and I think it's that they were really like the experts on torture. And so there was like, I don't know, but they're really into that. And that's what this other group is like. And so when you're just, it's like those people, it kind of reminds me like what I'm seeing is like the Vikings. And the Vikings, like nobody could take them on because they were, well, what has come out now is that they would take these two plants, and one of the plants made them feel like, like they were invincible and nothing could hurt them. And one of them was a real, uh, what is that called? Makes you real happy and energetic or something like that. And so these two drugs would make them more like invincible, and then they were like bigger, but they were very much like slaughter. And and they weren't scared. And so that is kind of like what these other people are like there's something that gets cut off from them in their fear or something. Like maybe they don't have cortisol or something, I don't know. And one thing too is we have like these people, who have been working on making these super soldiers. Like I just saw a video about this with these crypt. It's like a place called Project Asylum. And this is another thing I don't know. Like it seems like it's like an AI video, but this shit is real. I'm telling you. And I don't know if this is an AI video or whistleblower video, but it was. So it's called Project Asylum, and it's got all these things. The same kind of setup is what the one where I heard a long while ago about the cloning center one. The one where the guy was talking about that he had lived his whole life there and how many Britney Spears he had seen, people would come in and pay to her and like, I mean, I don't understand all these men's obsession with wanting to, like, what the fuck, dude? So he said it was really, really horrible because he had to watch so much of that. And then, and he explained how they were. I've seen other pictures and stuff and other people who have explained them. So it's like these big tubes or something, and they keep things in them. And some are people, and these have these creatures, these cryptids, which I'm not even sure what the fuck a cryptid is. Like, there's all different shape-shifting creatures, and they come from all different, places and stuff. And so but here they are. So this video was saying that some people volunteer, and some people are kidnapped, and some people, so they get people to go into this participation of this project. And of course, it's to create hybrids. They did this one where they turned this guy into this. I've done a whole bunch, and they turn him into a superhuman. And see, this is also stories. Like, these stories are all over the place. Like, these are real. There's one where even a doctor had done it to his own daughter, and I can't even remember her name and stuff. But it's very creepy. I think that one was at the 51 place. Is there all these places where they do these experiments or something? And it may not have been in 51, but any of these places where they do this stuff. And so they made him into a super soldier who, like, they can do far beyond anything human and stuff. And now the guy has awareness. He's still conscious of who he is. They took it's like they started adding in this cryptid's DNA into his and transformed him. And they're trying to create these super soldiers. But we already know that they've been trying to do that for a long ass fucking time. And they are, so I just was having the robot dogs come into my brain. It was throwing me. Hold on. Because somebody's saying that they're using the robot dogs now to catch soldiers and stuff. So, see, this is all they want to do. It's like these people are just whacked, man. And so they turn this creature, and the person has awareness, and they know they're a creature now, and they're stuck in this lab or whatever. And then they said that all of these different creatures that they create, all are these like super powerful, superhuman, and can withstand this and all this kind of stuff. But then something goes wrong and they all die because, they're trying to do something they're not supposed to be doing. I don't think, but it's not like God's gonna be mad that they're doing that or something. Like I've said, the universe like sits back and watches the show. Like, oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Look at them do that. Look at them do that. But, so it's not like where they go, oh, stop that. They can't do that, right? Because that's not real. None of this is real. And so it's there's things that you would think would be unacceptable, but it's accepted because it's like watching the movie. It's just like watching a movie. And so so anyways, this stuff that gets to go on, it's like a different reality. And so the creatures or whatever, like, they've been making creatures, and then there's creatures around. Like, there's just a lot of stuff to be coming out. But but let me think. Okay, so back on the Colorado thing, because the thing that is getting me is, so now there's people saying it's ridiculous. They're not going there. Like, the Hells Angels are not headed to Colorado to solve the government's problems, and everybody's waiting for now the Hells Angels to save them. Like, I don't know. I mean, I know everything is about breaking free from needing a savior and learning how to save yourself. And when, and when communities need to come together in unity and stand together. And I don't know, what's going on over there. If they just went in and they started taking them off, and now they're holding people captive. But how are people going out and getting money then? Because they said that they're making the people give them money. And then they're going and just stealing food and everything anyways. So why do they need the money? If they've taken these places over, what do they need money for? And then why would they need the dead weight of all these people? So I don't know. And now there's supposedly it's 3 buildings, but the people in comments, are so excited. Like, it's like, you guys, I mean, they were sitting there saying, showing these movies about Civil War and stuff, and everybody's like, "Oh, we don't want that." But then as soon as some shit goes down, it's like, "Well, that's what we want." It's like, so that's the thing. Is like, some people need this to play out the way it's gonna play out. There's nothing that, some of us just have to sit back and watch. Be like, well, I would have fucking handled it a little different than that. But we just have to watch how stuff plays out. And this could be, as things are coming to the surface, there's so much stuff, man. There's so much stuff. Like, there's so many things about Kamala that keeps coming out more and more, because this is like gonna really roast her up and really show all of her stuff, because that's what all this is about. When you come onto the stage, is so you can be exposed. And if you've got secrets and things you're trying to hide, well, there you go. And so so Kamala's whatever. And it's so weird too, is how, because now you have the groups going into, people are like, why would you vote for this person when all of their policies are so against us? And the people are just like, they just don't want the other guy and stuff, and they don't care. And that's where people are not thinking for themselves. It's like, how does that make sense? And that is what that one commercial, the TDS commercial that he's put out now, was showing too. It's like, it's not even making sense. Like, you guys got to stop and think, because you're just, it's like right now they're caught up in their emotions and stuff, and they don't realize how embarrassing they are. But when the lights come on, they're going to realize how embarrassing they are. And that's where they're going to feel so much shame and humility and be so hard on themselves. Like, how could I be so stupid? How could I be so blind? How could I be so ignorant? And that's where, that's where you're going into your dark night. That's where you're hitting into your ego. And you don't want to get caught in the dark. You just want to heal it. That's what this is all happening for. You got to heal through it. You got to, uh, learn how to take care of yourself. And that's a big part of what's going on. Because one thing is, even though this part, seems resistant right here, where it's like, come on, I'm ready to just get it all to be back to regular. But it's more than this. It's like my skin. It's like everything, like how much we need the minerals. Oh yeah, back on that thing too, because that doctor was, I don't think she was saying minerals, but she was definitely saying like the poison, all the things that I keep saying are killing us. She was saying that is what's making people sick. That's what's the problem. And it's like all of the politicians and stuff are in the pockets of these rich people. So they're going to do whatever these people want. And these people want to make us sick and then provide us with the cures. And so our government is not for us. Our government is a bunch of, the blackmailed, sellout pervs, vampires and relics. Like, they're a bunch of weirdos. And so, who was that? Oh, this was a story that a girl was telling. And she was telling, because there's lots of vampire stories going around now, because people are starting to come with their stories, like, all the things that people tried to hide because they didn't want to be made fun of over supernatural stories. Now you got all sorts of people telling them. But there was a lot of people, who wouldn't believe stories anyways. But she was saying that this guy who was a vampire, she said, and people know it, but she said that, it's obvious that he isn't like his great grandfather, that it's the same person. And it's like that they aren't, where they don't age the same, like some people are aging and then this person isn't or something. And so there's, I was just thinking about, because us as humans, though, we're not going to continue with this aging process, but see, we have to stop it ourselves and see for ourselves. But once you start, you got to do the detoxing. Like, you got to get the chemicals out of and it takes a while. Like, all this stuff is not quick. Like, I've been doing this for so long now. So you got to just go at it as you can. Go at it however you can do. And so, when I was on 18 meds when I started, so I did detox out of all of those meds. And so wherever it is that you start, and that was all, back in 2015 or 2016. And so that's how long I've been on this healing journey, this road back to good health and stuff. And on the path is where you learn these secrets to minerals and toxins and stuff. And so you got to get the chemicals out. The chemicals we're organic, and it's like taking something organic. It's like pouring salt on a leech or something. It's like, it's not good for us. All the chemicals and stuff doesn't go with us. It's destroying us. And they know that. It's like kryptonite to us. And so so you got to detox out of there, which is very complex because it's in all of our stuffs and all of our products, all of our foods. And some of the more basic things, like what I use to wash the clothes and stuff, is white vinegar and baking soda. And then for putting on, I have wool balls, and then you put, so I don't use dryer sheets, I use the wool balls, and then you put essential oil on it. And right now, essential oils seem to just be going up and up and up. And I like orange essential oil, but you can get whatever kind, and then you put it on there, and then you don't have all of these toxins and chemicals. And the stuff with soap, dishwasher soap, there's so much. Like any of these things, you just go and look into it, and you find out like how everything is so poisonous. Our shampoo and stuff. I saw this one guy who's really trying to get this, doing lots of these videos trying to talk about this. He said he never takes a shower. He said that all the chemicals that you absorb into your skin is just, it's too bad for you. And he showed some different studies and stuff. And so, and I've cut way back. Like I used to take baths all the time, and definitely took showers all the time and stuff. And then it started being like, well, am I really that dirty? Like, do I want to go in and absorb whatever fucking chemical is coming out of there? And it really does make you start changing how you look at things. So, and so it's all different degrees. Then wherever you start, you just figure it will probably, it's not going to stay in one position. Where you start is just the beginning point. So, and just trying to get out, and definitely in your food. And in food, they really put some bad stuff. So you definitely want to stay away from foods that, and they put chemicals on all the stuff, like they spray chemicals on everything. So it's sucky. But then they put any foods that they do any processing. And this doctor lady and this lobbyist guy on the Tucker show was saying, well, they're not really trying to kill you. They are just trying to make us all addicted to food. But I think that there's definitely people who are trying to kill us, and and definitely trying to create an addiction to food. And oh yeah, what was that? Oh, it was this lady. Yeah, because I had talked about this before too. Because I was saying about, because I watched so many old movies. And I remember, being young and the pressure, kind of like I've said, like my mom would always be like, she would say, well, we would all be able to put our hands around our waist. And I'm like, fuck, man. I guess I'm just a giant Hulk. And so I can remember things like that. And then when I'm watching the old movies, and I remember there being more pressure, but there was also a lot of learning how to take care of yourself, to eat right, to all that kind of stuff. And now there's such a shift in that. But then when I was watching the old movies, and I was like, man, everybody is so in shape. And nobody, I mean, they do have some older ladies or whatever, but I swear to God, it's all this pushing us to believe in aging. Somebody was even saying, like, Yeah, there was a whole thing on the Golden Girls, but I've talked about that before, about that they put in people who are younger and make them seem like, no, they put in people who are older and they make them seem like they're younger, so that we look at somebody who is like a 60-year-old and they're playing a 50-year-old. So then we think, oh man, that's how, and so it puts it in our heads. And so we go into this aging thing, like what they do. And there's more coming out about that too, about the being in how your head. It was a video I'd seen about a girl was talking about a study on food, and that it showed that when it didn't matter what the people ate. They could be eating the same thing, the two different groups, but it depended on what you told the people, and their bodies reacted to what you told them. And because it's all in how we perceive, and that is what they fuck with our minds. And so the okay, I'm kind of, a bunch of stuff there. Okay, so the food, but it was something before that. It was the food, putting things into your mind, your health, your sadness, whatever. You tell yourself things like, everybody's out to get me, everybody's out to get me. Then that's what you're looking for. If you are going out there like, oh, I feel so good, I feel so good, then you're putting that energy out. And, you're going to be walking down the street and smiling, and people are going to be smiling at you and just be like, fuck you. Because it's what you're putting out is what you're going to get back. When you're like, oh, everybody hates me, then you're going to get those feelings back from people, because it's what you're putting out. You're putting out a certain energy. And so, and then you take it personally. You think, oh, see, I was right. Oh, they don't like me because I'm too heavy or whatever. But it's like, no, it's your energy. Oh yeah, and so that woman, the doctor lady, she had said that back in the 70s, when everybody was fit and everybody cooked for their own food, nobody was eating all this boxes, and well, that's when they were starting, and they were marketing it, in a certain way, like shake and bake and all this stuff, and the Tang. My mom was always buying us this astronaut food. It was like so fucking fake, and so then the doctor said that back in the 70s, everybody was very fit and in shape, and we didn't have all these issues. And she's going through more health issues besides obesity, but she keeps saying, because the obesity is so crazy, and she said that back then, if you had a weight thing, you'd end up in the circus. And now we've got so many people, what people used to go into the circus, and then we've got, like, our whole society has become like that. And so she was, talking a lot about that and about health and stuff. But these are all the things that I keep talking about. But that was like this, there's more and more people talking about these same things that I keep saying. And so but it's important to get your body in balance, but it's also in your mind. So it's not, it all goes together. That's what I say about this mind, body, spirit. It's got to be how you look, how you reflect, how you see things, and how you take care of yourself. It's a total lifestyle. So you have to make healthy choices for yourself, and you have to love yourself and not be trying to fill some empty cup through your lifestyle. And so you have to find a lifestyle that is more balanced and healthy. And that may mean not running around and going out to dinner all the time and drinking with your friends and stuff. If you want to be healthy and take care of yourself, then you got to start noticing the things that they created to be toxic around us. And there's more stuff coming out too with the food pyramid, and that how much they were telling people we eat with carbs or something is what created the diabetes problem that we have everywhere. And everything has to do with this metabolic syndrome. And any of the issues, like if you're having a lot of obesity and stuff, to go at it more of a metabolic thing with, like, don't be cutting calories and stuff. You're supposed to be, it's cutting carbs or something. It's like looking at it like a diabetic diet. like what you're trying to do is not trigger your pancreas or insulin or something. Oh yeah, and there's more people now speaking out about like having their gallbladders out and all their issues that they have. And when I listen to them, it's like, fuck, these are the same issues I've had for my whole life. And I didn't know it was from the gallbladder. I mean, they told us when we were getting them out that it was like, oh, something that you don't really need or anything. And then you start having all these issues, and they just make like, well, it's just you. And no, it's a whole bunch of us. And this other one, so I'm going to take the ox bile again today. And I didn't have the stomach flu situation today. And I sat outside, so maybe it was some other toxin. I don't, it's so hard to figure out when you're just being poisoned all the motherfucking time. And so the ox bile thing, I'm going to start trying to take it again today and see how that does. But this other one it was called Talon or something like that with milk thistle. And this lady said that taking that has completely changed her gut. And so if somebody wants me to find the link or something for that, I can send that link if you're having a lot of problems with your gut. But your gut's under a lot of attack because, like I've said, the gut is where you absorb your nutrients, and so it's under attack because they don't want us to be healthy. They want us to be unhealthy. And also you need copper because that improves your gut health, because it kind of like dries it up or something, just like all of our hair, everything, our skin, everything just like sucks the life out of it without having the copper and the magnesium. And so and once you start taking in the minerals and stuff. Oh, and another one too I heard a doctor talking about was the he was saying in your coffee is take a little spoonful of butter and put it in there. Like there's people who say you take the mineral salts, take those, then put a little bit of butter in your coffee and drink that, and it's supposed to be like so good for your organs and stuff like that, like put you into a better state to start out or something. Like I can share that video if somebody wants to see it. But so I've put a little bit of butter, and it's supposed to be your first cup that you drink, and it like puts all these water soluble fats inside of you in a different kind of absorption way. It's different or something. I don't know. I'm sure I'm saying some of the stuff wrong, but anyways, I'm gonna keep doing that, and keep doing all this, just like these little things, and then you just try them, and if it's not working for you, you stop. Like the girl who was doing the castor oil, like if it was having some issue, you got to pay attention to your body. And right now I'm having horrible itching all around my eye, and then where it was that the one sore, now there's like a scattered, like smaller ones, and it hurts right here too. And then there seems to be over here, so I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna have to buy some more of the horse paste and stuff. I've been really focusing on giving it to Stella because she keeps having these cyst breakout things, and I just know that we're all under so much attack with all of these fucking toxins. And so the things you want to do is, really get into the detoxing and really be focusing on your lifestyle and how to have a healthy lifestyle, because you will start representing that. And then don't get caught up in like it has to be immediate. Like this has been going for years and years. So, and then, the more of us that are, catching on and figuring out things, and we can give people shortcuts and stuff. But still, I don't know, wherever you are starting, how long it's going to take you to where you want to get. But you got to make sure that you're using your mind, you're focusing on, seeing yourself, how you want to see yourself. Like whatever that is, start, seeing yourself, how you want to see yourself. Be nice to yourself, be kind to yourself, and go towards, having, creating a healthy lifestyle, whatever that is. If it's like, you need to sleep more, you need to drink alcohol less, you need to get up and move around more, you need to spend more time in reflection. Like there's a whole, a vast amount of things, and your guides will guide you through it. You just got to get tuned into the communication, like pay attention to the things that come to you, even in movies and on the radio. If something all of a sudden stands out that you're sitting there and you're just driving along and all of a sudden you hear these words that pop out super loud, that's a message to you. So pay attention to the messages and what they're trying to communicate. And then, and it can be like, to me, I think it's important to eat while the sun's coming up. Then there's tons of people who are very into the whole fasting thing. And I just was hearing somebody talk about like the 36-hour fast, and then to eat and then do another 36 hours. And it's like it fixes everything in your body or something. And so, there's all sorts of things like some people can do good on fasting. I'm horrible at it. Like I can do the intermittent fasting, but when I try and like go like a whole day, that's all I can think about is eating. And if I was busy, like if I was out doing stuff, then it's easy. But when you're just sitting here, and you're feeding your dogs every 5 minutes, like that's a lot harder to fast. Well, for me, but everybody's got to do their own thing, and find what works for you, find what fits you, and develop your own lifestyle and what works. And just going towards yourself, just going towards this love and respect for yourself, it will start falling into place and you'll start having improvements. Whatever it is, like my mom said that right when she very first started the copper, it wasn't her hair. I mean, it hadn't changed yet. She said it was how she felt. She couldn't believe how much more energy and how much better she felt. And that's because we're all going around just fucking, on the low speed because we are all depleted so much of the minerals. And so when you add them back in or add in what it is your body needs, you're going to start feeling so much better. And you're going to have more energy. You're going to be able to accomplish more. It'll just be, a lot better. But you also need to focus on like the healing aspects of it. And what was that one too? Because it was something about weight too. And it being like a thing about mental. And that's what I have been saying. It's like people put this weight on them to protect them from all the energy that's around. It provides like a barrier, a buffer to everybody's energy. But then, they start picking up on other things, where they start feeling bad about themselves. Like if they pick up on people's energy of thinking like, oh, well, that person's too fat or something. And then this is where it's handy, where you can start, figuring out all the voices in your head. So then, if you're around some person and, they look at you or whatever and you think like, oh, they think I'm fat. Like you can hear them, oh, okay, fatty or something. Then, and, the people will feel bad about it. But then you got to see like, okay, well, it doesn't matter what they think. They're triggering something in you of how you feel about yourself. That's why you're getting upset, because who gives a fuck what this person thinks? If they think you're fat, skinny, short, tall, 4 eyes, no boobs, too big a butt, too small a butt, who cares? Like, what do you look at when you see them? And it could be, that they have so much judgment on them that they go around judging other people all the time. You just got to not get caught up all the time in how other people look at you, and realize that it has so much to do with how you look at yourself. And that is what you got to work on. And realize that when people do these things, they're triggering you of how you feel about yourself. It's not just them, it's how you feel about yourself. And so that's what you want to work on. That's the part you want to release. You want to work on feeling better about yourself and learning how to love yourself, so that, it doesn't matter what other people think. How does it affect your life? Somebody passing you on the road who thinks you're too fat or too skinny or too tall or too ugly or too whatever. How does it have any effect on your life? That person just passed on by. But it's like there's so many souls that are very raw, They're very just like open and raw, and they just feel. And so, they put on a barrier so that they don't have to feel. But see, then they have to go through this process of slowly getting back in touch with their feelings and beginning to feel again, because that is where people start getting so much with the anxiety and depression, and all those things are so real to so many people. And there's so many more arrests and stuff going. There's so many more fucking crazy. Like, it just gets crazier and crazier. And it's like we're spinning so fast. It's like, I swear to God, anything could happen at any moment. And it's just like, we just don't know. And there's so many, well, there was so many people are saying there was going to be so much stuff that was going to be in July, but now there's so many, it's going to be in September. But then look at the signs. Like, I don't know what's going on in Aurora, but it's definitely building tensions. And if they do end up having, these gangs that show up and have like that's not going to be pleasant. Like, I don't understand, like, people in the comments cheering on, like you think that they're just going to show up and look tough, and then these guys that torture people for fun are going to go like, oh gosh, we're scared, we're going to go. They're holding machine. Like, what? Like, this is going to be a fucking bloodbath if this goes down. This is going to be horrific. I and and I know it all is, like, a part of it is like these energies or something. Like, I would say again, like, there had to be some big battles there against like indigenous people or something. There's a tension, there's a hostility, there's a energy that is purging out. And so that is going to, however it's going to play out, it's how it's going to play out. And it's going to be more places. Like, there's going to be places that it's going to be unexpected. Like, I think New York, or going to be anything's going to pop off there at any time. And now they've got the National Guard in the hotels there. And then where is it now? Where they're saying in Florida, I saw somebody doing a video saying that they've got National Guard showing up in Florida. No, they've got the Marines or the Navy or something, and that they were saying there was Navy ships or there was Russian ships off the coastline that were 100 or 200 miles away, and so that they were having all the military was showing up in Florida. But then there's all these people getting these videos of all this military that's taking over the hotels in New York. And then you have, whatever the fuck is going on over in Colorado, which I'm sure there's more and more places with more and more of this crazy shit. So I don't know. I just am so weirded out by people who think like this is gonna go easy. Like, I put out these Civil War movies for a reason. They are trying to create this horrible, and I don't know the answer. Like, I mean, the things are gonna play out. That's is like thing that's like where you just gotta go with the flow. It's not like, this is way above our pay grade. We're here for this show. We're here for this, watching this play out. And there's going to be bloodbaths. There's going to be, a lot of horrible things. It's horrible things have been going and going for years now, and it's going to continue. And but if they go and start, battling it out there, like, I don't know, are these guys on motorcycles? Are they coming packing, carrying automatic weapons as well? Because these guys are loaded. They've got gun shops, like, they've got everything right there that they've already taken. Like, they're fully ready for this, whatever's going to go down. And to me, it's like, I don't understand why the people, I know people think, oh, well, my job, my home, my stuff and stuff, but that to me is a sure sign. Is like, ooh, better take this, stage right. Let's get the fuck out. And to leave the scene and to recognize that shit's about to go down there. Like, I don't know. We'll see how things play out. But when someplace is about to become a war zone, that's the last place I'd want to be. And there will be, civilians who will be killed if they start going into this civil war. And now they're even saying that they're gonna the last Purge movie, that they're trying to play that out too. So To me, it's like you got to find places where you feel safe and where they're starting to battle. And then who knows, even like they have these zones or something where they make like these big battles are going to happen, because what happened in South Texas and then in parts of Arizona. So I don't know. It could be just parts of things so that we talk about them and we recognize and we see, because it's one thing to it's one thing to be in the movie and not be paying any attention to it at all, not know anything that's going on. It's another thing to be paying attention and recognize all the stuff going on and to talk about it and learn from it. And then it's another thing to be, caught up in it and be the performers. And so there's like a lot of people who are, going to be the performers that are going to be playing this stuff out. That doesn't mean it's like all of us, we don't have to all jump in and fight. These are, like I said, these can be like fucking Roman soldiers from way back that have come here to, it's just like these are way more elaborate storylines than what it appears to be. And it has to do with, all your past lives, because when you go through your past lives, you leave them open-ended over and over and over and over. You carry this trauma with you over and over and over and over. And this is the coming full circle. This is where the wrap up, where things fall, to complete cycles and stuff. So whatever is going to happen there in all these different places, like if California is about to go underwater, if New York's about to go underwater, like all these things are going to be happening. Like they're going to be happening. I don't know how soon they're going to happen. And and where I'm at, it's way up on the chopping block too. So I don't know, I'm in the same boat as everybody else of just like, well, what's going to happen next? Where are we supposed to go? What are we supposed to do? And I think there's going to be a part where there's going to be a clarity. It seems like when the lights come on, there's going to be a clarity. And the clarity is what's going to affect so many people. Because so many people are living in the dark and don't have any idea about, they don't see the full picture. So we have that to go. But it seems like when the lights come on, it's going to give so much deeper understanding to so many things, but that's what's going to start so many people into their healing journey, because it's going to be they think that they're so smart, they think they see things, they think they understand everything, they think that they know what's going on and stuff. And so that is going to be the part where people are going to really be impacted with their own attitude. That's why I keep saying it's like people are locking in their answers, because they've got to have this impact of their own attitude for whatever it is that they have to heal. And and I don't know if they're going to go and we're going to start having these battles. I don't know if in New York, if they got the National Guard there, because they're going to start battling. If somebody's saying that they're about to arrest the Donald and they're going to take him straight to Rikers and stuff. It's like, what's weird to me is how people get all caught up in that. It's like, this is like going against a civilian. Like, you guys, like, once the people wake up and see, that's what I mean. It's like, wake up and see, like, what is going on here. This is crazy what they're doing to this guy. But I don't think that they've got all the I think it has probably more to do with something with there's about to be something popping off. Like, I don't know. If shit starts going down in one place, does that mean, all these other gangs in this other place are going to start? Like, I don't know. All we can do is just keep watching how all this is going. And then it's weird. It's like, you don't even know, like, are they really going there? That's how much a movie this is. It's all just an illusion. Are they really going there? What's really going on? Where? And I don't know. I just, I will be so glad when things finally pop off and the bank crashes and people start seeing like, that's where, fuck, come on. And I just, sometimes it just blows my mind how they've been able to drag some of this stuff out. And then and I know it's not just to taunt us and to make us miserable. I know it's because there's, I mean, we can see, like, we can talk to people and see how, people are still under the mind control. And so this all has to continue to play out, because this is all about the awakening. It's all about getting people to get control of their own minds, quit being under this oligarchic mind control of uh, so much evil. And then there's so many people who have been so, a part of the dark, and they just sit there like, there's so many more people who are realizing too with the religion. The religion has people, you know, so in a dark energy, and the people don't realize it because they just listen to the words or something. It's like, but listen to your feelings, connect with, your spiritual side. And then you start being like, well, this is pretty dark, and what God would be like this egomaniac God that they've created for you? Like, it makes no sense. Like, why would you worship this kind of, I don't know, egocentric, evil kind of attitude? Where, I don't know, if somebody says, like, you either like me or I'll kill you, then that's, pretty nutty. And people are also comfortable with that. They'll sit there and say, well, you're going to go to hell. Well, you better like him. Well, you better do what he says and stuff. And it's like, it sounds like you guys have got some mind control issues. So all these different things, but you can see how there's so many people so fucking trapped. And somebody was saying, the other day too, is like, all you guys waiting for Jesus, why isn't he here yet? When are you guys going to start catching on? What's happening? And it's, I don't know. And I have religious people in my family, and there's like certain things that, just we even talk about, then it's right away, because they are waiting for Jesus. And they are waiting, like, and she is always telling me, like, when they get raptured, that's when it's going to be so horrible for the rest of us, because we should have claimed Jesus. And then we're going to be stuck here in the tribulation, and how horrible it's going to be. But it's like, dude, I think we're in the tribulation. Oh no, it's going to be way worse than this. It's like, I don't know. This is pretty fucking bad. Like, I don't know what you're paying attention to. It's pretty fucking bad what's going on. I've never seen so much horrific shit. And it's all of this energy that's in people, all this darkness, all coming to the surface, all coming out of people, all coming. So, well, we can all see, but, they all need to see too. And then another thing too that I'm for sure catching on to too is this one was how the dark energy, like, if you don't fucking get a handle on your mind and start realizing that you are trying to, that there's voices out there trying to control you, whether it's the fucking government or it's the archons or whatever the fuck it is. And so this one was a guy, and this mom was like this great mom, and her kids loved her. She had 4 kids, and the youngest son, I think, she called him and said, why don't you come over and spend the weekend? And he was like, oh, okay, cool, I'll be over in a little while. And he had been planning on murdering her. He wasn't sure why. It had been on his mind for years. And he had, it's like the voices had been telling him for years to do this. And he just decided today would be the day. And so he just went in and murdered her. And then he said even when he realized he had cut his hand when he was stabbing her so much, and he went in to start washing it, he's like, oh, I gotta tell Mom to get me some Band-Aids. It's like, and then he turns around and goes, oh, she can't do anything anymore. And then he calls 911, and they come and take him, and they're asking him why. And he's like, I don't know. For years, I've been hearing these voices telling me. And then all of a sudden she called, and I was just decided today's the day. But see, this is where people have got to learn discernment away from these voices. You got to fight back. Like, I don't understand how the voice is telling you, go kill your mother, go kill your mother. And it's like, okay, I'll do whatever you say. Let's go. It's like, what? Tell him to fuck off and get the fuck out. Get the fuck out of my head. Get your fucking negative shit and go. Like, leave me the fuck alone. And So you gotta learn discernment. You gotta learn how to communicate back. You don't have to be a, as raunchy as me. You don't have to tell them to fuck off or whatever. But it's okay if you do. Is, when they're coming at you, fucking giving you all sorts of bullshit and trying to make your life be harder or sadder or make you do really horrible things. And they know the weakness of your spirit that you don't even recognize that it's something that's not even you. It's like, man. So there's just a lot of that energy being purged out, a lot of that kind of stuff coming to the surface. It's like this, where people will be like, oh, it's demons. Everybody's possessed by demons. No, it's like you let the dark energy, because you got fucking people in churches doing it too. You got this dark energy that you let control you. And you got to recognize, you got to fucking stoke the soul's fire and start recognizing what energy you really put your energy into, what you're doing, what you're thinking, what you're saying. That's what it's all about, is you figuring yourself out. And it's not like you can fail at it. It's just like, that's what we're doing. We're just figuring ourselves out all the time. So just remember to work on loving yourself, loving everyone, and work on having a loving day, because it's totally up to you. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.